Hey, what's up, everyone? So it's Metta World Peace here. So I'm talking about a few players throughout my career that was the toughest for me to guard, and I get a few people who comes to mind um, right away, and so this is not going to be in any particular order, and I'm actually going to take a little bit of notes so I could so I can get it as right as possible. But so we got Mike Chatfield, Mike Chatfield from Queensbridge Projects, um, hustler, friend, um, bat baller, uh, gangster, but it was super dope. Kobe Bryant, and we got Strick. We call him Strickland from New York City. Strick. He was one of my toughest. Richard Hamilton. Richard Hamilton. You have Michael Jordan, older Michael Jordan also. LeBron James. LeBron James. And then you have DP. You got DP from New York City. He was one of the toughest people for me to guard. I also had some problems with Paul McPherson from Chicago. I mean, it wasn't difficult, but he was when he was focused, it wasn't easy to guard him. But Paul kind of just got a little bit unfocused that time. So Paul was pretty tough. I don't know if he's in my top 10, but he stands out. So then you have, and then I didn't put Kevin Durant yet because I'm talking about top 10 people that was toughest for me to guard through my experience, right? So Kevin Durant is up there, but just not yet, because I didn't have a lot of time with Kevin. So then you have, so we also had, oh man, there's another guy from New York City, and I got to get his name. I'm gonna get his name from Far Rockaway, from the streets. And Junie Sanders, good Lord. Junie Sanders. All right, so I'll begin you my top 10. So Mike Chatfield. I'm gonna go in order actually. I'm gonna try to go in order. The toughest people for me to personally guard in my career of playing basketball. Okay, so number one was Kobe, definitely Kobe. So he's number one. And then I would say Michael Jordan. I caught Michael late, but what I've seen Michael Jordan do in the summertime, and I've played against NBA players in the summertime. I played against NBA players in the regular season, and you can gauge, who's tough. So Michael Jordan, and then I'm gonna go. Obviously, LeBron is up there, but just let me double check. Anyone? Okay, LeBron James. I put him third because you can't really argue with LeBron James at number 3. Then I'm gonna go. I think my next toughest one. So Mike Chatty. He definitely was tough to guard, and he hasn't had enough time. Mike didn't have enough time playing against people in college. Mike was locked up. Mike was about 6'2" and point guard, shooting guard, very talented. So I definitely will put him up there. I have some tough decisions. So when you talk about Richard Hamilton, Richard Hamilton, you might not look at him as an all-time great. I mean, I think he should be a Hall of Famer potentially, or something. He was an amazing player. That team on the Pistons, it wasn't. It was a unique team where it wasn't a bunch of superstars, you know, or a bunch of all stars. But the way they played together, that group should be in the Hall of Fame. You would have had to play against them to understand that. But so Richard Hamilton and as a guy Junie Sanders, I think both of those guys stand out. Junie Sanders, Rich Hamilton. Junie was nice. I don't know how Junie didn't make it to the NBA. It just baffles me. I don't know what. There's a lot of politics involved. A lot of politics involved. Then you get DP and Strick. DP from New York City, so you gotta ask your friends in New York City, and you gotta dig deep if you want to understand who DP is and who Strick is. These New York City legends, really good basketball players, some of the toughest people I have to guard. DP would have gave anybody fits in the league. But he was an undersized power forward, but had game. There's a lot of undersized power forwards. He was a hustler, he was a rebounder, and he would have gave anybody problems. I did like Paul. I feel like Paul McPherson, DePaul, just not sure what happened. I think he was too good too early, but he was always tough. He had skills. He was big, he had bounce, just smooth and really, really tough cover, But for me personally, I think he was always one of the toughest people for me to guard. And then I'm gonna get another name for y'all, and I'm gonna come back to you. But it's one of my boys from Far Rock who was really nice, and I'm gonna get his name. Definite pro. Definitely should have, probably been in the NBA. One of the toughest for me to guard. I got Kevin Durant. Like I played against Kevin in Seattle, and he was a young fella. He was super talented, and I played against him off and on. And then towards the end of my career, it was really tough to guard him at that point. In the prime of my career, it wasn't that it was easy to guard him. If he wasn't as big and as strong as he was. So if you look at the series we had with OKC and the Lakers, if you saw how I was guarding him, I was in my prime strength-wise and almost speed-wise, so you couldn't really screen me. You can't screen. Coaches got plays, and it wasn't a play you can do, that could disrupt me. I've seen every single play thrown at me because I was always on the best player. So coaches is always trying to come up with ways, to get me off their player, but it wasn't really much you could do. Unless especially not a young player, and not just young, but you didn't have the experience. Like 4-year players are a little bit more cerebral than like one and dones at times. So that's why for me personally, I don't think Kevin was in my top 10. In terms of the hardest people for me to guard. Like I said, he's young. He's like 10 years or maybe 12 years younger than me, right? So, but definitely a tough cover. Definitely a tough cover. So I'll be doing more of these videos. I hope y'all like it. And hit me up. Let people know Metta World Peace is going to be on the YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everything, Twitter, all that. All right, peace out.